Welcome to Have History Will Travel. I'm your host, the Wilder Historian, and for the past couple weeks I've been doing a lot of Civil War videos. So this time I want to go back a little bit further and go to the American Revolution. More specifically, I want to talk about the surrender at Yorktown. The siege and surrender at Yorktown is one of the most pivotal moments of the American Revolution. Even though military engagements would occur in the Northeast after this, Yorktown is seen as the end of the American Revolution, even though it really was not. Even today, you can walk around those Revolutionary War earthworks and get a sense of patriotism, especially when you go to the surrender field. The emotions going on in those men's hearts as they are surrendering, if you're the British, or if you're accepting the surrender if you're the Americans, has an amazing emotional experience on visitors there. So in this video, I want to give you a few first-hand accounts of what happened during the surrender, how it took place. The first account I want to give you is an account by Count Matthew Dumas. On October 19, 1781, he rode out from the American lines to meet Lord Cornwallis' emissary, Brigadier General Charles O'Hara, and this is the account he gives. I placed myself at General O'Hara's left hand. He asked me where General Rochambeau was. On our left, I said, at the head of the French line. The English general urged his horse forward to present his sword to the French general. Guessing his intention, I galloped on to place myself between him and Rochambeau, who at that moment made me a sign, pointing to General Washington, who was opposite to him. "You are mistaken," said I to General O'Hara. "The commander-in-chief of our army is on the right." I accompanied him, and the moment that he presented his sword, General Washington, anticipating him, said, "Never from such a good hand." In that account, you can see that the British really did not want to give up to the Americans, and he offered his sword, or at least was going to present his sword, to the French general, and then they quickly directed him to General Washington. An American officer who observed this wrote, "The British officers in general behaved like boys who had been whipped at school. Some bit their lips, some pouted, others cried. Their round, broad-brimmed hats were well adapted to the occasion, hiding those faces they were ashamed to show. The foreign regiments made a more military appearance, and the conduct of their officers was far more becoming of men of fortitude." A British foot soldier wrote this, "Drums were beat, the colors remained in their cases, an idle retaliation for a very idle sight, which had been put by our people on the American garrison of Charleston, and the regiments having formed in columns at quarter distance, the men laid down their arms. It is a sorry reminiscence, this. Yet the scene made a deep impression at the moment, for the mortification and unfeigned sorrow of soldiers will never fade from my memory. Some went so far as to shed tears, while one man, a corporal, who stood near me, embraced his firelock, and then threw it on the ground, exclaiming, 'May you never get so good a master again.' Nevertheless, to do them justice, the Americans behaved with great delicacy and forbearance, while the French, of what motive actuated I will not pretend to say, were profuse in their protestations of sympathy. When I visited their lines immediately after our parade had been dismissed, I was overwhelmed with the civility of my late enemies." The next day, Lord Cornwallis wrote to General Clinton, "I have the mortification to inform your Excellency that I have been forced to give up the posts of York and Gloucester, and to surrender the troops under my command, by capitulation on the 19th instant, as prisoners of war to the combined forces of America and France." A few days later, Lafayette would write to a friend, "The play, sir, is over. Washington has given a dinner for the British General O'Hara." The French and the Americans had come together to face the British foe, and at Yorktown, much of the engagements in the South had came to an end, although there would still be skirmishes and engagements around the colonies afterwards. This signaled to the British that the Americans were going to fight, and they were not going to give up. I hope you enjoyed these few accounts. I really enjoyed reading them and just learning from them myself. Hopefully you gained a new impression on the surrender at Yorktown, and I look forward to doing some more videos on the American Revolution. I hope you enjoyed the video, and Have a nice day.